Hi Sanjay, I am Rahul, Senior Analyst. I will be conducting this round of interview for the Power BI developer role. How are you today?
Hi, sir. I am good. Thank you for this opportunity.
Let's start with a bit about of your background. Can you walk me through your experience and how you got started with Power BI?
Sure. I have a total of 5 years of experience in data analytics and business intelligence. I started with Excel and SQL for reporting, and then I moved to Power BI around 2 years ago. Since then, I've built multiple dashboards and reports for industries like retail and finance. My focus has been on transforming raw data into meaningful insights that help businesses make better decisions.
Good. Could you share some details about a recent project where you used Power BI and what problem were you solving?
One of my recent projects was for a retail client who wanted to track sales and inventory across multiple locations in real time. They had outdated Excel reports and needed a more dynamic and automated reporting solution. I designed a Power BI dashboard that pulled live sales data from their SQL database, cleaned it using Power Query, and presented key metrics like revenue, stock levels, and sales trends. I also added slicers so users could filter data by region, product category, and time period.
Nice. What challenges did you face while working on that project and how did you overcome them?
One major challenge was handling missing and inconsistent data, especially in inventory records. Some stores were not updating their stock levels on time, leading to gaps in reporting. To fix this, I used Power Query to identify missing values and applied logic to estimate stock levels based on historical trends. I also worked with the business team to set up automated data entry validations.
Okay. Speaking of data, what data sources have you worked with in Power BI?
I've worked with SQL Server, Excel, SharePoint, and APIs. Each data source has its own integration challenges, but Power BI makes it easy to connect and transform the data.
How do you typically clean and prepare data in Power BI?
I use Power Query for data transformation. I start by removing duplicates, handling null values, and merging tables when needed. Functions like replace values, split columns, and pivot unpivot are really helpful. In one project, we had multiple data sources with different date formats. I used Power Query to standardize them before loading into Power BI.
Good. Could you tell me what's your approach when dealing with large data sets in Power BI?
For large datasets, I focus on optimizing performance by 1. Using directory instead of import mode when real time data is needed. 2. Reducing column count and keeping only necessary fields. 3. Creating summary tables using DAX instead of complex queries. 4. Optimizing relationships between tables by avoiding many to many relationships.
Nice. Now, let's talk about visuals. How do you choose which Power BI visuals to use in your reports?
I always start with the business question. For example, bar charts are great for comparisons between categories. Line charts help show trends over time. Tables and matrices provide detailed breakdowns. KPI and cards highlight key metrics at a glance. I also use tooltips and drill through pages to enhance interactivity without changing the main dashboard.
That's a good approach. Have you ever created custom visuals in Power BI?
Yes, in one project, we needed a heat map that wasn't available in default visuals. I used Deneb to build it. I've also used Charticulator to create custom charts for more detailed analysis.
Let's move to DAX. Can you explain the difference between measures and calculated columns?
Calculated columns are computed at the row level and stored in the dataset. They increase data model size. Measures are calculated on the fly based on user selections, making them more efficient. For example, if I need a static profit margin column for each row, I use a calculated column. But if I want to calculate total sales dynamically, I use a measure.
Got it. Can you give an example of a complex DAX formula you've used?
Yes, in one project, I needed to calculate year to date sales but exclude weekends. I used name of the measure. In this case, I name it as Hawaii TD sales. Then, calculate the sum of sale date swayed calendar function with dates. Then, I used not before weekday function. As I didn't want to include Saturday and Sundays, then calendar function again. Then I wrote in 1 and 7 in curly brackets. This ensured that the total sales only considered business days.
Alright. Now moving to SQL. How do you optimize a slow running SQL query that's being used in Power BI?
There are several ways. 1. Indexing. Creating indexes on frequently used columns speeds up lookups. 2. Using joins efficiently. Instead of multiple subqueries, I would use inner joins. 3. Using common table expressions, CTEs, makes queries more readable and reusable. In a recent project, I improved a report's refresh time by adding an index on the date column, which reduced query execution time.
How do you use filters and slices to enhance user experience in Power BI reports?
Filters refine data at different levels. Visual level filters affect only one chart. Page level filters apply to all visuals on a page. Report level filters work across all pages. Slices help users interact dynamically with the data. For example, I often add a date range slicer to let users filter reports by custom timeframes.
Nice. Once your report is ready, how do you publish and share it using Power BI service?
Well, firstly, I publish to Power BI service from Power BI desktop. Then, creating dashboards by pinning key visuals. Next, assigning permissions using row level security. And lastly, scheduling data refreshes to keep reports up to date. For sensitive reports, I also apply sensitivity labels and restrict downloads.
Good. Tell me, when starting a new Power BI project, what's your overall approach?
I follow a structured approach. First, I try to understand business requirements by talking to stakeholders. Next step would be identifying data sources. Then I start transforming data by using Power Query for cleaning and shaping. Then I work on building the data model, where I define relationships and create DAX measures. Then I go to designing reports by selecting the right graphs for clear insights, and lastly, publishing and sharing the dashboard by deploying reports securely via Power BI service.
Nice. Thank you, Sanjay. It was nice talking to you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I am good. Thanks.
Well, in that case, we can wrap the interview session here. We will update you soon.
Sure, thank you.
You can disconnect now. Have a great day.